Welcome to the Career Brand Story Podcast, where we talk about your career, your brand, and your story. I'm Jeremy Tudor, the career strategist, brand marketer, and storyteller that created the Career Brand Story method that has helped thousands of job seekers craft their career brand story for today's job market and land their dream job. All right, so we are going back to the basics today. We're going to be talking about the resume. Jeb, when is the last time you updated your resume?
I am pretty sure the last time I updated my resume was 2010.
Ooh, that's a long time.
11 years, my friend.
That is a long time.
And
well, today we're going to dive into...
wrong too. You would not be happy with what my resume looked like.
I was actually thinking about this. I don't know that I've ever seen your resume.
I'm sure you haven't, because I don't even know where it is. I don't even know if I saved it. So I do remember some stuff that was going on with it, and I'm sure we'll get to that later in this episode.
Yeah. This is a great episode for you to be a part of, then, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, pull out your notepad, and we'll give you some tips here today on your resume.
Yeah, I'm gonna look here. Oh, you know what? Actually, it was 2011 was my last resume. I found it on Dropbox.
Well, I mean, that's not. I say that's bad, but the reality is that there's a lot of people who are actually in that camp because they've worked in their career. They've been there about 10 years and probably have not looked at their resume or thought about it until now listening to this podcast.
Right. Yeah, because for me, I'm always like, I don't need a resume. I have a job. What do I need a resume for?
Yeah. Right. Do you know who created the very first resume, or who's credited to creating the first resume?
Jeremy Tudor, Career Brand Story. No, I have no idea.
I'm credited to creating the first market-ready resume.
Ooh, you heard it here first. No,
That's right.
I don't know who's credited with making the first resume. I don't have any idea.
It was Michelangelo.
No kidding. The Ninja Turtle?
Yeah. Yeah, the Ninja Turtle. Ka-cha! Yeah. He put pizza delivery on there as his first job.
Oh my gosh. That is totally Michelangelo.
Hey, you remember the days when we talked about you and I becoming pizza delivery drivers?
I do
like
remember
working
that.
together?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would still be fun.
And how nobody would ever get their pizza because we'd be on the side of the road eating it.
Yeah. We would just be refunding free pizzas all the time.
All the time.
So I actually last night was looking at some places over in Nashville where we're kind of hoping to land, and we were looking at the Google map, and I was zooming in and showing different restaurants and stores with my son Luke, and we found a Pizza Hut, and I was like, kept zooming in, like, there it is.
Look at
yes.
it. Isn't it beautiful? We'll see you soon.
Yeah, so not Michelangelo, the ninja pizza eater turtle, but Michelangelo, the Renaissance man. In 1482, at the age of 30, he wrote out a letter and a list of his capabilities, and I'll probably mess up this name, but he sent it to Lodovico il Moro, Duke of Milan.
Wow.
I didn't do too bad with that.
I don't know. It's redacted on my script, so I can't see to even help you with that.
I know. I didn't want you to see the answer and give it away. I wanted to test your knowledge today.
Yeah. Well, I failed.
Yeah. So that's actually who's credited to creating kind of the first resume. I actually think that it may even go farther back than that, but I don't know. People can test us on that and go research that and come back and tell us we're wrong. We're happy to correct ourselves.
I'm sure in some way somebody had to list out something for somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
About that job. Yeah. How good are you at bloodletting during the medieval times or something?
Something there. Yeah. Well, there are those who say, and that would like to be, I think, disruptors in this way, where they're like, let's get rid of the resume. But I think it's kind of hard to get rid of something that has actually been around as long as, let's just go with the 1482 date.
Mm-hmm.
And where I'm more inclined to say, if you want to really be a disruptor in this whole space, burn the cover letter. I see no purpose in that. But I don't think that the resume is going to go anywhere anytime soon, because this document, right, it documents your job history and your accomplishments, and it's the quickest way for prospective employers to know if they are interested in your skills. So all the way back on episode 13, we actually talked all about your resume. We went from top to bottom. Go back to episode 13, all about your resume. Give that a listen if you're looking for a step-by-step on what to include and what not to include in your resume. Check that out. So that would give you everything. But today, and I refer to the resume kind of as a market-ready resume because that's how I see it. I see it as a marketing tool meant to showcase your skills. And here's what you have to keep in mind. Recruiters and hiring managers will view your resume in about 8 to 10 seconds. And so that's why I say it's the quickest way to job qualification. It doesn't make the market-ready resume any less important, but it does mean that you need to be very targeted and very on point about what you're going to communicate in your resume. And so the two things that I think that you have to have in a market-ready resume are keywords. And keywords should always be focused on hard skill sets and result-driven accomplishments. So just real brief on keywords, putting things like, I'm a dynamic, creative, collaborative genius. While all those things may be true, those are kind of what we would consider softer skill sets and not things that recruiters are going to use to search for you online or in an applicant tracking system. They're going to use words like project management. They might use team collaboration, people management, financial stewardship or P&L budgeting, IT infrastructure or architecture, design, planning and scheduling, right? Those are like hard skill sets that if I'm going to search for someone, that's what I'm thinking about, how I'm going to search for them to be able to find them.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Do you want to grade my 2011 resume profile opening pitch paragraph?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the way I had this resume formatted was the title was profile, and it says photography and design professional with extensive experience and proven accomplishments along with excellent leadership and self-motivational skills, seeking work in the areas of my experience and expertise. Gonna have to wake up over there, guy.
Oh, were you still talking? I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah.
I mean,
but see, that's the thing about,
it.
Right. But that's the thing about those executive summaries is that it's this like crazy kind of like, usually like this embellishment of like, it's almost like what you would like put like maybe like on a dating app, like you're trying to like say, look at me,
right.
Don't you want to have dinner with me type of thing? And yet it doesn't say anything at all. And so what that misses, right? It misses you getting right to the point about what value you actually bring to the business table. It misses hard skill sets that are actually going to make you searchable and puts the recruiter hiring manager right to sleep for them to move on to the next person.
And that probably
So
explains
keywords,
why I never heard anything back from the handful of places I applied.
This is why it's really important to focus on your keywords and hard skill sets. So just think about like if you were going out to Google and you were doing a basic search, right? They use SEO, search engine optimization keywords. If I go look for a pizza place, I'm going to put in pizza and the location. So it's the same thing with kind of your resume. That's how applicant tracking systems work for recruiters. Now, the other equal important part in a market-ready resume is result-driven accomplishments. And I actually think this is where most people struggle, is with writing accomplishments about themselves. So a little quick pro tip here. If you struggle even to think about your accomplishments, so actually before we even got on the show, I was asking Jeb, like, think about an accomplishment because I'm going to ask you later on. He was taking some time to think about that, right? So here's a pro tip for you. In an Excel spreadsheet, keep an Excel spreadsheet, like have a folder that's like career development. And in that folder, have an Excel spreadsheet that's called accomplishments, all right? And each quarter, go into that Excel spreadsheet and you're going to have 3 columns, challenge, action, and result. And then at the end of each quarter, you sit down and you think about your accomplishments in that way. What were some of the challenges that I had this quarter? What are the actions that I took for those challenges, and what were the results? Then when you have to go write your resume, it's going to be a lot easier to review down those accomplishments of which ones that you should include and not include.
That's a great idea. I really need to do that because, you know, the years fly by and it's really hard to remember all the, you know, the wins that you've had and along the way.
Yeah, and the other thing too is even if it's not for your resume, just from a career growth standpoint, it's really good because if a performance review comes up or you're thinking, wow, I've worked really hard over the last 2 quarters, it's time for me to go in and talk to my boss about a raise, you're going to actually have the facts and the information to say, this is why I actually deserve a raise.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And in my case, it's funny, my wife, Jessica, and I were talking about this over the weekend that, you know, I'm self-employed. We always joke about the company Christmas party just being me sitting by myself at a table, you know. But we were actually talking about a financial structure and, you know, in the future, giving myself a bonus. And when it comes to that sad party, I actually like to celebrate with friends and other local business owners. And, you know, it would be fun for me to kind of showcase some of those accomplishments to the people I invite to that kind of open house, which is, in my case, a good networking tool.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea for an entrepreneur. And I love the idea of, right, even rewarding yourself and giving yourself kind of a bonus, right? Because that keeps you motivated throughout the year to actually accomplish those things. Because how often as entrepreneurs is it easy for us to go like, oh, well, we didn't meet the deadline. You know, we just kind of push it aside because other things have happened.
On to the next thing.
So
staying afloat, treading water, all those keywords.
That's fantastic. I really like that idea. So you could do it in rewards of like tacos.
Yeah. And that would be great. You know, in fact,
by the way,
I came in sick today. I think I deserve 3 extra tacos.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe one day to get paid by me too.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, it's just so the listeners know, I work by myself. I came in sick at a threat to nobody. I'm not that guy in the office that comes in hacking on everybody.
Did you hear Jeb? I think he's coughing. He's going to get us all sick.
He came in here with those germs.
If I get sick by Jeb, I'm just going to be really upset. I'm going to HR. I'm going to complain.
You should.
Brenda! Hey, this is totally a sidetrack, but I shared with you a TikTok where this guy went to a Taco Bell hotel. Did you see that yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
There is a Taco Bell hotel in Palm Springs, Florida.
Huh.
And I think that should be your bonus.
I do think that would.
That should be your bonus. If you meet your goals for the end of the year, you should reward yourself a trip to the Taco Bell hotel.
I like it. I think that's a great idea.
It looked like your vibe.
Yeah, that's totally my scene.
I would go with you as a friend. I'm not sure it would be totally my vibe, but I would still do it for you.
I appreciate that. See me floating on like a big sauce packet raft.
All right, that was completely off track.
Back on track
about
here.
resumes.
Let's get back to the
talking
market-ready
about
resume.
So what I want to help you with is how to write a result-driven accomplishment. All right.
Okay.
So the result-driven accomplishment, this is the formula that you need to follow, and this formula is actually good to think about also in interviewing. It's how you do interviewing. So some places in interviewing use what they call the STAR method. The STAR stands for like situational, task, action, and result. I think that's a little lengthy. Like between situational and task, it just, becomes a lot for me to think through. So I've kind of simplified this down to CAR, right? Challenge, action, and result. So think about this in your resume. Think about this in how you would answer interview questions, all right? So the C is for challenge. You think about, okay, what challenges did you face? Then you think about the action. What action did you take? And then you think about the result. What was the result? In the resume, when you can put metrics or numbers in that result, it's just going to speak louder on a resume, right? Mm-hmm. Again, it's read in 6 to 8 seconds. Our eyes are just going to gravitate to things that are easier to pick up faster. One of the things in a market-ready resume that I like to do is, Jeb, what I would recommend in your resume is get rid of that executive summary that about put us to sleep on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
And replace it with what I call the performance summary. And so what you're going to do is you're actually going to think through your top 3 career accomplishments, all right? And each accomplishment is going to use that formula of challenge, action, and result, CAR.
Okay.
All right? Those top 3 career accomplishments, the more relevant they are towards the job you're trying to get, the better they are going to be for your resume. They should also be things that you're excited to talk about. So if you are networking or you get into that interview and someone says to you, all right, tell us about yourself. What are the things that you're really excited about, that you're really proud of, that you want to talk about? And so having those top 3 things there, is a great way to get right to the point in your resume. It's in the top third of your resume, which is like prime real estate. So when a recruiter is going through these resumes and they get like sleepy resume after sleepy resume because of executive summary after executive summary, and then all of a sudden they come to yours, the performance summary, they're like, oh, wow, this guy has got some things that he can really do for us.
Yeah.
And that's going to put you into the yes pile.
I like it.
So to give you guys an example, I'm going to write out one of Jeb's accomplishments. So Jeb.
Okay.
Give me a challenge that you faced.
Okay. When I am not photographing on sets, I am sometimes a digitech. And let me give a little background on what that is. Most people don't know what that is. A digital tech on a still photography photo shoot is the person who is responsible for data wrangling. So the photographer will be taking pictures with their camera connected to my computer. My computer will be connected to 2 to 3 hard drives. I'll be backing up files as they come in. I'll be labeling them. I'll be putting them in folders that are appropriate. For instance, if we had a red background folder and a blue background folder. In addition to that, and this is kind of when the challenge comes in, especially in COVID. It wasn't new at COVID, but it really ramped up during COVID to have safe photo shoots. So another task that I'm given when digiteching on a shoot during COVID is I need for other members of the crew to be able to see the photos without hovering over me or the photographer, because we need to keep our 6 feet of distance. So, challenge I faced with a shoot in the past year, actually a couple shoots in the past year, was needing to have 3 displays on set without the budget for HDMI signaling devices. And my the action I took was that I said, okay, I don't have the budget for the good, expensive devices, but I do have an Apple TV. So I was able to put a monitor up connected to an Apple TV and just do a screen mirroring across the room, as well as share to an iPad that the stylist could have in her hand. So we had the 3 screens up, and everybody stayed distant and safe, and came in under budget because an Apple TV is $99 and the HDMI transmitter is like $650. Result, everyone stayed safe. We got the multiple screens and we were under budget.
All right, so let me just recap, make sure I capture this.
Okay.
So the challenge is, right, what you were doing is you were a digital tech and you were responsible for data wrangling, and means backing up images, categorizing file, and sharing with other members in real time images that kept COVID-safe practices on the photo shoot.
Yes.
And you accomplished this by leveraging 3 different displays for HDMI by using an Apple TV that helped you come under budget.
Yes. Because
Okay.
Yeah, because the Apple TV is $99 and you can share your screen natively to an Apple TV, and the HDMI transmitters and receivers are like $600.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to write out your accomplishment. You're going to have to cut this part for just a second and let me write this out, and then I'll read it to you.
A few moments later.
What you got for me on this accomplishment?
Okay. So just to review again, we talked about that you're the digital tech, right, on a photo shoot, responsible for the data wrangling. You had to go back up images, categorize file. You're sharing out images with other members to keep COVID-safe practices on the photo shoot. You ended up needing to be able to leverage the photo shoots across displays with HDMI signals, and you did that by Apple TV, which helped you actually come under budget using those multiple screens in that solution, right?
Yep. The only correction so far is HDMI, not HTML. I didn't make any websites.
Okay, gotcha. Good point. That's why it's a collaborative process when you're working with a resume writer. All right, so this is my first stab at it just off the bat, and how I would maybe think about your performance summary and a resume.
Okay.
Orchestrated data wrangling on a commercial photo shoot by backing up images, categorizing, digitally filing, and sharing with other team members. Leveraged Apple TV to share photo shoot images in real time while ensuring COVID-safe best practices that allowed collaboration and cost savings.
Great. Yeah. Yes. You got it. I think there are 2 words in that I would change based on industry lingo.
Yeah, which would be what?
Which would be, instead of team, I would say crew. And I think I forgot the other one, but it was an editorial photo shoot, which is a commercial photo shoot, but editorial means we were shooting for a magazine. So that just stands out a little bit more too if I were applying for an editorial position. Let's them know I'm comfortable in the fast-paced environment of editorial work.
Right. And if this performance summary, if this accomplishment was sitting within the performance summary, what we typically do in the Market Ready resume is add 2 keywords on the front end of this. So you might say, digital tech management and commercial photo shoot or editorial photo shoot, and bold those keywords, and then you'd have the accomplishment.
Cool.
So again, when the recruiter is reading through this, in the 6 to 8 seconds that they see your resume, they clearly pick up exactly who and what you're about and what you can bring to the business table.
Like it.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to get you to rewrite the copy of my website. I mean, I did it last year, and it's pretty good, but I have not added the digital text section yet, so maybe I'll get you to write that copy.
Well, maybe so. We'll have to talk about that. I'll charge you a taco for all the tacos I owe you.
Fair enough.
So
take one from the balance.
yeah. Hey, let's take a second and just recognize the people who in part make this show happen. Part of this show is sponsored by Enter Your Fellowship. If you are a college graduate or in college and at least 21 years old, if you're seeking to understand how to best participate, given your unique gifts and talents and desires, you might think about taking an intentional gap year to gain clarity. They are now accepting applications for the 2021-22 year. And so let's close the gap together. You can go apply at enteryear.org/apply. Enteryear.org/apply. All right. And we're launching our Career Brand Story community on Patreon. And for just $10 a month, members of our community will receive exclusive content, including weekly lives with members of the Career Brand Story team and other members of the Career Brand Story community to answer all of your questions around career strategy, brand marketing, personal branding, and everything else in between. Members of the Career Brand Story community will also receive exclusive bi-weekly bonus content that you can't find anywhere else. So we're excited to foster a community that allows all of our members to thrive in their life and do what they love. You can sign up on patreon.com. We're so excited. We're looking forward to seeing you in the Career Brand Story community on Patreon. And just to say, as we said, because I know I can see it in Jeb's, I know he's thinking it, just want to clarify that this podcast will always be free.
Always.
Always.
What's
going on Patreon?
If you're charged for this podcast, it's because the big companies who host them have decided to charge, but we won't charge for it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So the content on Patreon is over and beyond what you get on this free, exciting podcast. So very excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, maybe you're saying writing is still not your forte, and you're like, there's no way that I could write an accomplishment like that. That's okay. It's why we have Career Brand Story writers ready to help. And we have actually multiple Career Brand Story writers now on our team. And so if you're like, I do not want to do that. I don't want to take the time to do it. I don't have the time to do it. It still feels like a lot. It's really helpful to talk it out with someone and have your expertise on it. And then that's what we're here for. Now, you're still going to have to come up with CAR, challenge, action, result. And you can significantly help a professional resume writer if you're thinking ahead about your result-driven accomplishments. All right, so you can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn. Just search for Jeremy Tutor, and on Instagram, I'm at Jeremy T. Tutor. And while many of you listen to this podcast because that is what a podcast is for, you can join us on our new Career Brand Story YouTube channel. Just search the best place for you to go do this is go to careerbrandstory.com, and then you'll be able to find us right on YouTube. We would love for you to subscribe. Our goal is to get 100 people there subscribe so that we can then do other things like change the URL and make it easier for you to find us. If you've been a subscriber to the Jeremy Tutor YouTube channel, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Stay there, but go subscribe to the Career Brand Story one. That's where all of these podcasts are going to be later down the road. Other things will come on the Jeremy Tutor YouTube channel. But we'd love for you to kind of check out the Career Brand Story YouTube channel and sign up over there. Jeb, where can people find you?
You can find me on my website at jebgraff.com and everywhere else at the handle at jebgraff. That's JEBBGRAFF.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and keep thriving.
If you're interested in advertising your business on our podcast, we advertise for local and national companies. Contact McKay at careerbrandstory.com for more information. That's MCCAY at careerbrandstory.com.